Today, let's talk about sight. Physicists would tell you that sight is nothing more than light reflected in some objects that collides with your eyes, informing your brain about what it is. Evolutionary biologists would describe such a feature as a key in the path of Homo sapiens dominance. Sight also has been a key feature of many tales, such as with Horus, the Egyptian god, who had the head of a falcon, one of the animals with the best sight in the world, and was endowed with the powers of knowledge and memory and the burden of recording all of human history. But also Adam and Eve. They were ignorant to the good and evil of the world until they tasted the fruit of knowledge that opened their eyes. One thing remains constant. Seeing is a key feature of humanity with which we make sense of the world. This is so true that knowing is encapsulated by the sentence like I see or I've seen the light, and we describe ignorance in terms of the opposite, in terms of darkness. The dichotomy of knowledge and sight extends to the business and innovation worlds fairly logically. A company capable of seeing market indicators of various kinds will survive, a blind one will die. In one of our previous videos, we talked about how established companies fail to ride innovation waves and eventually collapse. We talked about how established firms face issues while trying to adapt to disruptive technologies shaking up an industry. We stated that there were some know-hows of success that enable them to survive and grow up until they became the kings of their industry, but then it rendered them too rigid to adapt to change. In this video, we will study the second of the principles of interrupted disruptive innovation, outlined by Clayton M. Christensen, which states that since disruptive emerging markets can't be analyzed, established companies' reliance on structured measurable evolution will hinder their progress. Hence, why we talk about sight. The traditional advice on starting a new business states in bold letters that would-be managers should study the market before they are planning to intervene, before venturing to build their companies. They should know their customers, how they act, what they buy, and how many there are. They should scan their competition, their prices and policies, their standards and portfolios. They should know everything about the margin products yield and which to get rid of. In short, they have to see before they act. And once again, as it tends to happen with traditional wisdom, it is very hard to argue with this logic. Humans are very visually oriented animals. It stands to reason that our companies are too afraid of the darkness of ignorance. Companies such as Bloomberg and PwC, both consultancies, made small fortunes by providing deeply researched market studies to companies wanting to operate in unknown markets. Furthermore, Warren Buffett, one of the most successful growth investors of recent history, advises to not purchase stock of a company until you know everything about it. Recently, with the explosion of data available at the fingertips of regulators, analysts, and board members, the concept of market research has expanded far beyond what it once was. The 21st century is a digital book of data, and the most cutting-edge companies have developed algorithms that are capable of reading it, and based on their past actions, predict what products and services will become successful. So how can this be? How can we argue against the merits of data, against knowing, and against sight? The answer is simple. By definition of a market research, be it of the current market or an evolution of it, it is based on learned principles and grounded on current practices, while disruptive innovation is not. Disruptive innovation is radical, unhindered, creative, but above all, it is unpredictable. Christensen argues that established companies' over-reliance on measured evolution and analysis of the market is what hinders their ability to develop disruptive technologies, which create new markets that do not exist today and therefore cannot be analyzed. It is as if what we talk about when we say the market is a vast field covered by some thick black fog. Every successfully developed product or service stands as a burning candle or torch that extinguishes the darkness, revealing a mountain of gold, while every failed attempt is another torch surrounded by nothing more than sand. Market studies can analyze the area that is lit by such torches, but are unable to predict where light must shine to uncover the gold. Hence, established companies, specifically data-driven ones, can only place torches around the area that they know, therefore bringing in more and more light. And yes, every once in a while, they discover some hidden pocket of gold, but for the most part, they leave the vast darkness that surrounds their isle of sight unattended. Therefore, we are faced with the paradox of premonition, where knowing the future blinds you because your eyes only seek what they already know in an area that is familiar. Netflix is a disruptor, and no doubt they were very successful and placed the first torch on the mountain of gold that was streaming, and its powerful algorithms allow it to continue to hold dominance of its very profitable discovery. However, by Christensen's second principle of interrupted disruptive innovation, it is expected that Netflix won't discover the technology that will one day supplant streaming video, because they can't see the market. The success of technological innovation can only happen wildly, unexpected, and the face of every disruptive CEO will always have to be one of surprise. The fruits of success are ripe for risk takers, like the inventors of old random bursts of light against the darkness of the market. Netflix claimed the streaming mountain of gold before Disney Plus or HBO, both established dominant TV networks, because it braved the risk of an uncertain bet, while the other two, both more likely candidates to dominate the news space, were paralyzed by how little they knew about streaming and the consumers, competitors, and opportunity lying there. The falcon eyes of Horus observe the history of humankind as he writes in the book of history the developments of the Homo sapiens. He values sight, therefore he must be surprised at discovering how much the technological advances that have shaped the course of history have been the products of blindness. Nonetheless, that is how innovation works. Out of nowhere, a new market is discovered, barren of loyal clients, set standards, record margins, and established competitors. A land without any history, a blank page for Horus to write, and a gold mine waiting for those innovators that dared venture the darkness. Thank you for watching Rebel Economics. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. We have lots of contents, both in our channel and down the pipeline, so it's really worth it. If you want more content like this is the right place to be. We talk about everything, from how to break a monopoly to how Amazon bullies the sellers on their platform. Both videos you can watch right now. Thank you once again for stopping by, and see you soon.